If you're over 50 and you skip what I'm about to tell you tonight before you sleep, you will wake up tomorrow weaker than you were yesterday, and the day after that, even weaker. This isn't just about muscle loss. This is about watching your independence, your vitality, your very essence as a human being slowly slip away while you sleep. I learned this from studying ancient Shaolin practices for over 2 decades, and what I discovered will shake you to your core. Stay until the very end because the final insight I share will be the most powerful thing you hear all year. Most people think muscle loss after 50 is inevitable. They accept it like they accept gray hair or wrinkles. But here's what they don't understand, what the medical establishment won't tell you. Your muscles don't just disappear because of age. They disappear because of betrayal. Your own body betrays you every single night, and you have no idea it's happening. When you were young, your body was a loyal servant. It repaired itself. It grew stronger. It recovered from everything you threw at it. But somewhere around your fifth decade, something shifted. Your body began to see you as a burden rather than a partner. And the cruelest part, this betrayal happens while you sleep, when you're most vulnerable, when you think you're safe. I've spent my life studying the human form, understanding how energy moves through our bodies, how consciousness affects our physical reality. What I've discovered about muscle loss in seniors isn't just medical. It's spiritual. It's energetic. It's about the very essence of who you are slowly being drained away one night at a time. You see, your muscles aren't just meat and fiber. They're repositories of your life force, your memories, your power. Every muscle fiber holds the echo of every step you've taken, every embrace you've given, every moment you've stood tall in the face of adversity. When those muscles waste away, you're not just losing physical strength. You're losing pieces of your soul. Here's what happens to your body every single night after 50 and why it's so devastating. Around 2 a.m., when you're in your deepest sleep, your body makes a choice. It looks at your muscle tissue and it looks at your fat stores and it decides which one it needs more. If you haven't prepared your body correctly before sleep, it will choose to break down your muscles instead of burning fat. This is called nocturnal muscle catabolism, and it's happening to millions of seniors right now as they sleep peacefully, unaware that their bodies are literally consuming themselves from the inside out. Your body becomes a cannibal feeding on its own strength to maintain basic functions. And the most heartbreaking part, you wake up feeling like you had a good night's sleep, completely unaware that you're weaker than when you went to bed. But it gets worse. This muscle loss creates a vicious cycle that traps you in accelerating decline. Less muscle means slower metabolism. Slower metabolism means more fat storage. More fat storage means more inflammation. More inflammation means poorer sleep quality. Poorer sleep quality means even more muscle loss. It's a death spiral that starts so slowly, so subtly, that by the time you notice it, you've already lost years of strength. I've watched this happen to countless people, strong, vibrant individuals who slowly transformed into frail shadows of themselves. Not because of disease, not because of genetics, but because no one ever taught them how to protect their bodies during those crucial nighttime hours. They thought aging meant accepting weakness. But that's the biggest lie our society tells us. The ancient masters understood something that modern medicine has forgotten. The body is not just a machine that breaks down over time. It's a living energy system that can be programmed, directed, and controlled through conscious practice. Every night before sleep is an opportunity to send signals to your body about what you value, what you want to preserve, what you refuse to lose. In the Shaolin temples, we have a saying, "The night reveals what the day conceals." What this means is that nighttime is when your body shows its true priorities. During the day, you can mask weakness with caffeine, with adrenaline, with sheer willpower. But at night, when all the masks come off, your body reveals what it truly values. The ancient masters discovered that there's a window, a sacred window between when you prepare for sleep and when sleep actually takes you. This window, typically lasting 20 to 30 minutes, is when your body is most receptive to programming. This is when you can literally tell your muscles to stay strong, to preserve themselves, to resist the natural tendency toward breakdown and decay. But here's what most people don't understand. This isn't just about doing a few stretches or taking some supplements. This is about entering into a conscious partnership with your body. It's about recognizing that your muscles are not just tissue. They're living entities that respond to your intentions, your energy, your commitment to strength. The monks would spend this pre-sleep window in what they called muscle meditation. They would lie still, but their minds would be intensely active, sending energy and intention to every muscle group in their bodies. They would visualize their muscles growing stronger overnight. Imagine their bodies repairing and rebuilding while they slept. And the remarkable thing, it worked. Modern science is now catching up to what these ancient practitioners knew centuries ago. Research shows that visualization and focused intention can actually trigger muscle protein synthesis, the process by which your body builds and repairs muscle tissue. When you consciously direct your attention to your muscles before sleep, you're not just thinking positive thoughts. You're literally changing the biochemical environment in your body. Let me tell you exactly what you need to do and why each step is absolutely critical for preserving your strength and vitality. This isn't theory. This is practical wisdom that can transform your aging process starting tonight. First, understand that your pre-sleep routine begins not when you get into bed, but when you finish your last meal of the day. What you eat in those final hours before sleep determines whether your body will build or destroy muscle tissue overnight. Most seniors make the fatal mistake of eating carbohydrates late in the evening, thinking they need energy for sleep. But here's the truth. Late-night carbs signal your body to store fat and break down muscle. Instead, your final meal should be rich in high-quality protein and healthy fats. But it's not just what you eat, it's how you eat it. The ancient practitioners understood that eating is a sacred act, especially that final meal of the day. They would eat slowly, mindfully, with deep gratitude for the nourishment they were receiving. This isn't just spiritual practice, it's practical physiology. When you eat with awareness and gratitude, your body produces different hormones, processes nutrients more efficiently, and sets itself up for better recovery during sleep. 30 minutes before you plan to sleep, begin what I call the strength preservation protocol. This starts with gentle movement, not exercise, but conscious, deliberate activation of your major muscle groups. Stand tall, feel your feet connected to the earth, and slowly, deliberately contract and release each muscle group from your toes to the top of your head. This isn't about getting a workout. It's about awakening the connection between your mind and your muscles. As you do this, breathe deeply and intentionally. Each breath should feel like you're feeding oxygen directly to the muscle tissue. The ancient masters believed that breath was the bridge between consciousness and physical form. And they were right. Deep conscious breathing increases oxygen delivery to your muscles, promotes the release of growth hormone, and activates your parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and repair system that will work all night to preserve your strength. Now comes the most crucial part, the sacred window I mentioned earlier. Once you're in bed, but before you allow sleep to take you, you enter into conscious communication with your body. This isn't meditation in the traditional sense. It's an active partnership with your physical form. Close your eyes and begin to scan your body systematically, starting with your feet and moving slowly upward. But here's the key. You're not just observing your muscles, you're speaking to them. With each muscle group, you send a clear, firm message. I value you. I need you. Stay strong while I sleep. This might sound mystical, but remember, your muscles are living tissue filled with cellular intelligence. They respond to your intentions. Visualize each muscle group glowing with warm golden light. Imagine this light as pure life force, pure strength flowing through every fiber. See your muscles not as they are now, but as you want them to be. Strong, vital, capable. Feel the sensation of power flowing through your body. This visualization isn't fantasy, it's programming. You're literally giving your body instructions for what to do during the night. The most powerful part of this practice is when you reach your core muscles, your deep abdominal muscles, your back muscles, the muscles that hold you upright and strong. These are the muscles that determine whether you'll maintain your independence as you age, whether you'll be able to get up from chairs without help, whether you'll walk with confidence or shuffle with fear. Send extra energy here. Feel these muscles responding to your attention, growing stronger with your focus. Finally, as sleep begins to take you, repeat this phrase with deep conviction. My body rebuilds and strengthens while I sleep. I wake up more vital than I was today. This isn't just positive thinking, it's the final programming instruction for your overnight recovery process. What I'm sharing with you goes far deeper than just muscle preservation. This is about fundamentally changing your relationship with your aging body. Most people see their bodies as failing machines, but that perspective creates the very failure they fear. Your body is not a machine. It's a conscious partner that responds to how you treat it, how you think about it, how you honor or dismiss it. The seniors who maintain strength and vitality into their 80s and 90s have one thing in common. They never accepted that aging means weakness. They approach their bodies with respect, with intention, with the understanding that every day is an opportunity to grow stronger rather than weaker. They don't just take care of their bodies, they actively collaborate with them. This collaboration is most powerful during sleep because that's when your conscious mind steps aside and allows deeper wisdom to emerge. When you practice the strength preservation protocol, you're not just preventing muscle loss. You're establishing a new relationship with your physical form based on mutual respect and shared goals. I've seen this transformation happen countless times. Seniors who seem destined for frailty suddenly develop new strength, new energy, new confidence. Their families called it miraculous. But there's nothing miraculous about it. It's simply the result of conscious partnership with the body's natural intelligence. Your muscles want to stay strong, your body wants to remain vital. But in our culture of quick fixes and passive consumption, we've forgotten how to communicate with our own physical form. We've forgotten that strength isn't just maintained through exercise during the day. It's preserved through conscious intention during the night. Here's what's working against you and why this practice is more crucial now than ever before. Modern life is literally poisoning your muscles while you sleep. And most people have no idea the blue light from screens disrupts your natural hormone production. The stress from constant connectivity keeps your nervous system in fight or flight mode. The processed foods and environmental toxins create inflammation that accelerates muscle breakdown. Even the way most people sleep on soft mattresses in overheated rooms with poor posture contributes to muscle deterioration. Your body needs specific conditions to repair and rebuild muscle tissue effectively, and modern sleeping environments work against these natural processes. The pharmaceutical industry has convinced millions of seniors that muscle loss is inevitable and can only be slowed with expensive medications and supplements. But this is a lie designed to keep you dependent and profitable. Your body has everything it needs to maintain strength throughout your entire life. It just needs the right signals, the right environment, the right partnership with your conscious mind. The most insidious part of this modern assault on your vitality is how subtle it is. You don't wake up one morning suddenly weak. Instead, you gradually lose a little strength each day, so slowly that you barely notice, until suddenly you can't open jars, can't climb stairs without breathing hard, can't get up from low chairs without using your hands. By then, most people think it's too late, but they're wrong. Cellular command. At the deepest level, what I'm teaching you is cellular command, the ability to consciously direct your body's repair and regeneration processes through focused intention and specific practices. Your cells are not mindless biological machines. They're intelligent entities that respond to the signals you send them through your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. When you lie in bed at night feeling grateful for your body, visualizing strength flowing through your muscles, consciously directing your breath to nourish your tissue, you're literally changing the genetic expression of your muscle cells. You're activating genes that promote growth and repair while suppressing genes that promote breakdown and decay. This isn't wishful thinking, it's epigenetics in action. The ancient masters understood this cellular intelligence intuitively. They knew that the mind and body weren't separate entities, but different aspects of a single integrated system. They knew that consciousness could direct physical reality, that intention could influence biology, that the power to remain strong and vital throughout life was not in some external treatment, but in the partnership between awareness and physical form. Modern research is confirming what these ancient practitioners knew. Studies show that seniors who maintain positive attitudes about aging actually live longer and stay stronger than those who accept decline as inevitable. The placebo effect isn't just about fake pills. It's about the power of belief to literally reshape biology. But belief alone isn't enough. You need practice, ritual, consistent communication with your body. You need to approach your physical form not as a burden or a failing system, but as a wise partner that has carried you through every experience of your life and deserves your respect, attention, and conscious care. Transformation. Promise. When you begin implementing this strength preservation protocol tonight, you won't just be preventing muscle loss. You'll be initiating a complete transformation in how you experience aging. Within the first week, you'll notice that you sleep more deeply and wake up feeling more refreshed. This isn't just because you're sleeping better. It's because your body is using sleep more efficiently for repair and regeneration. Within the first month, you'll begin to notice subtle but significant changes in your physical capabilities. Tasks that had been getting harder will start feeling easier again. You'll move with more confidence, stand taller, feel more stable on your feet. People around you will start commenting that you seem more energetic, more vital, somehow younger. But the most profound transformation won't be physical. It will be psychological and spiritual. You'll stop seeing yourself as someone whose best days are behind them and start recognizing yourself as someone whose strength and wisdom are still growing. You'll stop accepting limitations and start exploring possibilities. You'll stop aging passively and start aging powerfully. This shift in perspective creates a positive feedback loop that accelerates your physical transformation. When you believe in your body's ability to stay strong, you treat it differently. When you treat it differently, it responds differently. When it responds differently, your belief deepens. Soon you're living proof that aging doesn't have to mean decline. It can mean refinement, deepening the accumulation of both wisdom and vitality. The most beautiful part of this transformation is how it affects not just you, but everyone around you. When people see a senior who radiates strength and confidence, who moves with purpose and energy, who refuses to accept the limitations that society imposes on aging, it gives them hope for their own future. You become living inspiration that aging can be an adventure rather than a surrender. Life force. What we're really talking about here is life force. That fundamental energy that animates your body, drives your healing, fuels your strength. In traditional Chinese medicine, they call it qi. In Ayurveda, it's prana. In the Shaolin tradition, it's internal energy. Whatever you call it, this force is what determines whether you age with vitality or decline. Most people lose connection with their life force as they get older. They stop paying attention to their energy, stop cultivating their vitality, stop believing in their body's capacity for renewal. They accept fatigue as normal, weakness as inevitable, decline as natural. But this acceptance becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. The strength preservation protocol I've shared with you is really a life force cultivation practice. When you consciously breathe energy into your muscles, when you visualize strength flowing through your body, when you send messages of appreciation and intention to your tissue, you're not just maintaining muscle mass. You're stoking the fire of your essential vitality. This life force isn't just about physical strength. It's about mental clarity, emotional resilience, spiritual connection. It's about waking up each morning feeling like you have something valuable to contribute to the world rather than feeling like you're just waiting for your body to fail. It's about approaching each day with curiosity and enthusiasm rather than resignation and fear. The seniors who seem to defy aging and who remain sharp, strong, and engaged well into their 80s and 90s have one thing in common. They never stopped cultivating their life force. They never accepted that getting older meant getting weaker. They continued to invest in their vitality with the same intention and consistency that they once invested in their careers or families. Cultural lies. One of the biggest obstacles to maintaining strength as you age is the collection of lies our culture tells us about what it means to be older. We're told that after 50 we should expect to slow down, to accept limitations, to prepare for dependence. We're told that vigor is for the young, that pain is inevitable, that the best we can hope for is to slow our decline. These cultural messages are not just wrong, they're dangerous. They create a psychological environment that actually accelerates the aging process. When you believe that weakness is inevitable, you stop doing the things that maintain strength. When you expect pain, you become more sensitive to discomfort. When you anticipate dependence, you start practicing helplessness. The truth is that many of the things we associate with aging, weakness, confusion, loss of independence, are not natural consequences of time passing, but results of disuse, poor habits, and negative expectations. Your body is designed to maintain strength and function throughout your entire life, but only if you give it the signals, nutrition, and care it needs. The strength preservation protocol challenges these cultural lies by demonstrating that you have more control over your aging process than you've been led to believe. Every night that you practice conscious muscle preservation, you're proving to yourself that decline is not inevitable, that you can actively participate in maintaining and even improving your physical capabilities. This isn't about denying the reality of aging. It's about aging powerfully rather than passively. It's about recognizing that while your body will change over time, those changes don't have to mean loss of strength, independence, or vitality. With the right approach, aging can mean deepening wisdom combined with maintained physical capability. Sacred responsibility. As someone who has dedicated their life to understanding human potential, I want you to understand that maintaining your strength isn't just about you. You have a sacred responsibility to age powerfully, not just for your own sake, but for everyone who looks to you as an example of what's possible in later life. Every senior who shuffles instead of walks, who accepts weakness without resistance, who gives up on their physical capabilities, makes it harder for other seniors to believe in their own potential. But every senior who moves with strength and confidence, who radiates vitality and capability, who refuses to accept cultural limitations, creates inspiration and possibility for others. Your grandchildren are watching how you age. They're forming beliefs about what they can expect from their own later years based on what they see in you. When they see you implementing practices that maintain your strength, when they watch you aging with intention and power, they learn that growing older doesn't have to mean growing weaker. This is why the strength preservation protocol is not just a personal practice. It's a contribution to changing how our entire culture thinks about aging. Every night that you consciously preserve your muscle mass, you're participating in a quiet revolution against ageism, against the medical industrial complex that profits from decline, against the cultural messages that tell seniors to accept limitations. The ancient masters understood that individual practice always serves the collective good. When you cultivate strength in yourself, you add to the pool of human vitality. When you demonstrate what's possible through conscious aging, you expand the realm of possibility for everyone who comes after you. Final truth. Here's the final truth I promise to share. The insight that will change how you think about aging forever. Your muscles are not just meat and fiber. They're living libraries that contain the physical memory of every meaningful moment of your life. Every hug you've given, every mountain you've climbed, every dance you've danced, every time you've stood up for what you believe in, all of these experiences are encoded in your muscle tissue. When you allow your muscles to waste away through neglect or resignation, you're not just losing physical strength. You're losing access to the embodied wisdom of your entire life. You're letting the physical repository of your experiences dissolve into weakness and frailty. But when you consciously preserve your muscle mass through the practices I've shared, you're not just maintaining strength. You're honoring the fullness of who you've been and preserving the foundation for who you can still become. This is why muscle loss feels so devastating to seniors, even beyond the practical limitations it creates. On some deep level, they sense that they're losing more than just physical capability. They're losing connection to their own life story, their own accumulated power, their own embodied history. Tonight, when you lie in bed and begin to practice the strength preservation protocol, remember that you're not just maintaining muscle mass. You're preserving the physical foundation of your identity, maintaining access to the strength you've built through decades of living, and keeping alive the possibility for new experiences, new adventures, new expressions of who you are. Your body has carried you through every joy and sorrow, every triumph and challenge, every moment of love and loss that has shaped who you are. It deserves your respect, your attention, your conscious care. It deserves to be honored, not as a failing machine, but as a faithful partner that has never abandoned you and never will if you never abandon it. The choice is yours, and you make it every single night. You can allow your body to slowly consume itself in the darkness, accepting weakness as the price of aging. Or you can enter into conscious partnership with your muscle tissue, actively preserving the physical foundation of your vitality and proving to yourself and the world that growing older can mean growing stronger, wiser, and more capable of contributing to the beauty and meaning of human existence. The strength preservation protocol starts tonight. Your muscles are waiting for your attention, your intention, your conscious care. Don't let them wait another. Final truth. Here's the final truth I promise to share. The insight that will change how you think about aging forever. Your muscles are not just meat and fiber. They're living libraries that contain the physical memory of every meaningful moment of your life. Every hug you've given, every mountain you've climbed, every dance you've danced, every time you've stood up for what you believe in, all of these experiences are encoded in your muscle tissue. When you allow your muscles to waste away through neglect or resignation, you're not just losing physical strength. You're losing access to the embodied wisdom of your entire life. You're letting the physical repository of your experiences dissolve into weakness and frailty. But when you consciously preserve your muscle mass through the practices I've shared, you're not just maintaining strength. You're honoring the fullness of who you've been and preserving the foundation for who you can still become. This is why muscle loss feels so devastating to seniors, even beyond the practical limitations it creates. On some deep level, they sense that they're losing more than just physical capability. They're losing connection to their own life story, their own accumulated power, their own embodied history. Tonight, when you lie in bed and begin to practice the strength preservation protocol, remember that you're not just maintaining muscle mass. You're preserving the physical foundation of your identity, maintaining access to the strength you've built through decades of living, and keeping alive the possibility for new experiences, new adventures, new expressions of who you are. Your body has carried you through every joy and sorrow, every triumph and challenge, every moment of love and loss that has shaped who you are. It deserves your respect, your attention, your conscious care. It deserves to be honored, not as a failing machine, but as a faithful partner that has never abandoned you and never will if you never abandon it. The choice is yours, and you make it every single night. You can allow your body to slowly consume itself in the darkness, accepting weakness as the price of aging. Or you can enter into conscious partnership with your muscle tissue, actively preserving the physical foundation of your vitality and proving to yourself and the world that growing older can mean growing stronger, wiser, and more capable of contributing to the beauty and meaning of human existence. The strength preservation protocol starts tonight. Your muscles are waiting for your attention, your intention, your conscious care. Don't let them wait another.